Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ollie Rodriguez-Stallman. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you my NAS collection. We have 10 of his records here, and I thought I'm going to share it with you. We are on the road to 5,000 subscribers, so if you could press that subscribe button if you haven't already, that would be greatly appreciated. And if you do go on to enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like and check out some of my other artist collection videos. And straight away, obviously NAS has more than 10 albums, but these are the 10 that I have. I'll get on to which ones I'm missing at the end of the video, but for now, let's begin with the very first album, and we will be going in chronological order, and that is with Illmatic. So by now you guys should all know how much of a classic Illmatic is, and I shouldn't have to really say too much about it in terms of the music side of things, but I will just say it is a good one to listen to. And probably my favourite ones on here, New York State of Mind, as well as Life's a Bitch. Those are probably my two favourite songs on this record. But this one, it's not like a special anniversary edition, but it does have a translucent record in this one. I have recently shared this in the spring albums video I did, but this one's got kind of like a foggy sort of translucent vibe to it, but I really do like this design of this one, and it kind of matches fairly well with the cover. And the sleeve that holds this one does have some imagery, as well as obviously the credits on it too. Get a better look there. So there is the first side, and then on the other side you have this one, Nas in His Neighborhood. And this one is just obviously, it's kind of a timeless album, and one that's probably going to last throughout the rest of history. This is the album that basically put Nas on the map, and it's pretty much the one that everyone sort of thinks of when they think of Nas. And obviously he's still performing it. I think last year, maybe the year before, he was doing a 30th anniversary of the album and doing loads of different shows for it to promote it. Unfortunately I didn't get to go to those shows, but it's that iconic and it's lasted that long in terms of being a standout album, and for that reason it is probably just an essential you need when it comes to getting a vinyl collection going, particularly when you're looking at hip-hop and rap records, because this is one that will last as a test of time. And I don't think I've shown it yet, but there is the back cover of it too. And that is the first record of Nas that I own on vinyl. So now for the second Nas record, and that is Stillmatic. So this one is jumping ahead a couple of years because there are like 3 or 4 records in between this one and Illmatic. And this one's probably best known for the track Ether. Obviously that was the infamous Jay-Z diss, and basically that was half the reason I decided to get this one. I think during the time when I was like looking at getting records, I was really trying to get some more like historic kind of albums that had something meaningful behind it, and I think that was kind of during the peak of the Drake-Kendrick beef, and then I was kind of getting some of the older stuff, and obviously Ether is one of those like historic tracks that people often go back to in rap. So that was a really big reason for why I wanted to pick this one up and kind of went back to listen to it. And the rest of it is actually a really good album, but that's probably one of the standout things that people will think of when it comes to Stillmatic as an album for that Ether track. And also, the cover is a very unique one. Even when I brought it in the shop, the guy had to make a comment about it, always like saying something like it's a bit of a weird one, but obviously Nas and the pigeon there, so it's definitely a unique choice to go for. On the back you have Nas again, a bit more of a close-up shot of him, and then a bit of New York in the background, and also the track that's on the side. And this one is a gatefold. I love me and my gatefolds. And then open it up and you get Nas in the middle with the skyline in the back of New York, and then all the credits there. So that's a really nicely laid out gatefold. And if I open these ones up and show you the record, we do have ourselves a silver disc. And I do actually really like the label of this one. There's just something about the Stillmatic font with the New York skyline in it that looks really cool, so I really do like that quite a lot. So that's the second one in the NAS collection, Stillmatic, a very historic one for the diss track on here, and otherwise a still very good album. Now I believe this next one is the album that follows Stillmatic, and that is with Nas God's Son. And I gotta say, I really like this one. It almost feels a bit like a rebirth of Nas in a way, and kind of like him switching up his style, not to be completely different to who he is or anything, but enough so that it feels like a bit of a newer version of him. I think from what I understand of looking at the albums that came between Illmatic and this one, I feel like a lot of them are very much a case of he's still riding the wave of Illmatic in a way and kind of building off of them a bit. I could be wrong with that statement, but that's kind of the impression I kind of get, whereas this one I feel like is a real kind of like standout, kind of like going down a different path in a sense in terms of his music and his style. And this probably has one of my favorite Nas songs on here with Thug's Mansion, which somehow has Tupac on it after his death, which is kind of interesting to see the way they handled that and go about it, but it's a really good song on there. And just looking at the back of this, I've realised he's brought back the bird theme. because I don't think they're pigeons, I think they're actually doves on that one. But there is a back of it with Nas holding 2 doves, and there's a bunch of images there, and even this one here, that's actually used as another cover for, I believe, the like live version of this album that he did. So that's cool to see it on there and photography used too. And I mean, you can even tell there's a bit of a different approach to this, because it still does have the Nas thing in the corner there, but it's also got Nazra Jones there, his real name. So you can tell he's going for something a bit different and a bit more personal in this project just by that. But then we move on, and then we have the sleeves, which again, they've got the photography on here. I do like it when the sleeves do have like prints on them and they're not just like the typical like paper fold out bit, whatever you call it. But on this side, you basically get Nas with some palm trees, and then on the back side of it, you then get the credits. And then on this one, you do get Nas again smoking, and then also I believe he's written a bit of a letter there too, which you can read if you want to, and if it focuses well enough. I'm not sure if you'll be able to make out the handwriting that well, but hopefully you can. And it actually carries on to the other side, where you get Nas again with more of the writing all throughout the actual page this time. So there's that. And these ones are also coloured LPs with this luscious blue. Oh, it's even got the Ellie approval. So yeah, I really do like this blue. I will say though, as much as I do like it, it does annoy me the slightest bit, because it doesn't fully match like the tone of blue used here, and I would have expected that. Like, I still feel like this is a really nice shade of blue, but it just like, it kind of contrasts quite badly with the actual cover, but it still fits with the theme of blue, I guess, but that's just like a very minor complaint. But there you have it there, looking very nice. So God's Son is probably for me like one of the most listened to projects of Nas in terms of like me going back in his catalogue. Like comparing the amount of times I listened to this compared to Illmatic, I think I've actually listened to this one more. However, like I think that's mainly because I do quite like the more personal side of it, and obviously this is actually an album that came after his mother's death, so there was a lot more personal feeling that went into this one that I just really enjoy, and you can kind of feel it all throughout. There's a lot more soul and funk that sort of comes out of this one and kind of makes some more enjoyable music to listen to, in my opinion. And I don't think it's one that's really spoken about too much when people like consider Nas and what he's done. So if you haven't listened to this one already, definitely go out your way to listen to it, because it's a really good one to listen to. And if you're looking for it on vinyl, it comes with some very nice blue discs, so that's a good bonus. So the fourth record of Nas I own is Life Is Good. This one, I believe, is actually a 1 of 4,000 maybe. I'll have to double check that. I'll put something on screen just to make sure I've got that right. But these were a limited amount at the very least, and it even comes with recycled LPs, which is a really nice feature of it too. And this is probably one of the more recent projects I'm kind of like slowly making my way through Nas, and this is kind of like the latest one that I've kind of started getting myself into. I really do like the project itself. It's again a bit more of a mature project that sort of does a lot of reflecting, similar to like what God's Son does, but more of a sense this time on more of like Nas's journey to becoming the legend that he now is. One of my most enjoyable tracks on here is the one featuring Amy Winehouse with Cherry Wine. It's just always good to hear her voice on a track, and her and Nas have actually got a few collaborations, so it's nice to see her on there. I really do actually quite like the cover of this one. It's just like a really like classy kind of cover to it. And then if we take a look on the back, you got Nas there again, and then we've also got all the track lists, of course. And this one is also a gatefold. I wouldn't say this one's like a crazy gatefold or anything like that, but it's still good enough to look at. And if we take a look at the LPs, again, I did mention these are recycled, but they kind of come in this like, not neon, but very light green. I mean, in this lighting, it actually looks almost blue to some extent, but it is a green effect. But yeah, I really kind of like it. If I actually put it the right way, you can then actually see the NAS logo properly. And it's actually a really nice one to play through, and definitely one I think is worth picking up on vinyl and playing it that way. Now, whilst I have showed you this one, there's actually one bit I'm missing from it, and I thought I lost it, but I actually found it, and that is, it came with like a mini trading card with just like the Life Is Good cover, and then also with all the track lists on the back of it. It's not like a major thing or anything, but it is nice to see like extra bonus stuff like this, like as part of your records. I just always find it like really cool when you just get like bonus random stuff, like with the Tyler the Creator one, which came with like a massive Tyler the Creator sticker. Just like random bits and pieces that just like come with records. It's just like really cool to see, and kind of makes it feel more worthwhile to get. And just to keep it safe, I am actually going to put it in the record, so it's always there and I always know where to find it. So now we're probably getting onto the section of the video you guys probably would expect to see me talk about, and that is with King's Disease #1. This is now going into this era of Nas, the 2020s run, and honestly, the 2020s run of NAS has kind of been where I've gotten into NAS. Like, whilst I have, like, before this sort of run and era of NAS, I have listened to stuff like Illmatic. I never really listened to him all that much before this series of albums, and it started with King's Disease. This was the first in the series I actually picked up on vinyl, mainly actually because of the cover. Like, I was looking in HMV one day and I just came across it. I think I don't know how I remember this, but I also got it when I got my Little Sims album. But yeah, I just really loved the cover of this, and obviously saw it was NAS and went away and listened to it, and I absolutely loved it. This was one that I did feature in the spring video I did. This is honestly a really good one to listen to during this current season we're having right now. Like, there's some great tracks on here that will really fit the vibe that you're looking for from your music in this spring to summertime period. Like, one of my favorites probably Car 85, 27 Summers, Spicy is a good one. Like, there's a good number of tracks on here, and just like a really good ambience of the album that is super worth listening to during spring and summer. And if we open this one up, because it's a gatefold, we then have NAS in his room looking at all his records. I'm assuming they're what he's probably used to sample some of these songs, but it's really nice to see all of that. And I think this just speaks to the vibe of King's Disease and why I love it so much just through this singular image. And this one does actually come with a pullout, and you get NAS there. You then also get the track list there with the credits, and then you can also open it up to get yourself the King's Disease #1 poster right here. So now if I show you the LP for this one, I can show you a very, very nice thread that we have here. Really like the way this one sort of stands out. And if you know me by now, one of the things I absolutely love when it comes to actually pressings of vinyl is the fact of when there's not just a random color picked, it's when the color is picked for a reason and it actually matches the cover of an album. And this one has done it really well, because obviously it matches all the babies, all the angels, whatever you want to refer to them as, but it matches the color of them perfectly. So for that reason, I really like the discs that are here for this. And there's the second LP in this too, but that is the first one out of the King's Disease series. And honestly, it was the perfect way for NAS to come out and actually start redoing his 2020s run. But it wasn't actually the one that I first listened to. The one that I did listen to first, that got me essentially into NAS as a whole, is King's Disease #2. To me, can't remember what year it came out. Was it 2021? Now this one came out in 2022, and the reason I remember that is because I remember listening to the album like when it came out. And the reason I came across it is I was basically on the drive home from a family holiday in Wales, of all places, and on the way back I was just looking for some music to listen to, and I saw Eminem had a new feature on a new NAS album, and I went and listened to that song. I quite like the song. I won't lie, it's not like a standout track for me. I do like listening to it when it comes on during the album, but from there I kind of just like really enjoyed the vibe of the cover more than anything. And during that time I was listening to Logic's No Pressure album that had come out like 2 years before actually, but it was still in my constant rotation to the point I've even got it on my arm, and that obviously had like an orange vibe to it, and I don't know what it is, just that orange vibe like spoke to me with this one, and I was like, you know what, why don't I give it a go? And I went through and listened to the entire project, and I became obsessed with it. And to me, I'm sure people will say no it's not, but to me, I consider this on the level of Illmatic. Like, genuinely, I think King's Disease 2 is so good. There's an amazing set of tracks on here, and it's probably one of those albums that is really good to listen to on like a really like bright Sunday. It feels like a really real album too, and just like, yeah, I really love this album for so many different reasons, but I'll just get into actually showing you the album itself. If I now open up the gatefold, we can then see NAS, and I'm going to say that is Hit Boy. Hit Boy was essentially the producer, or the main producer, on the whole 6 album run that NAS did, and was a big reason why NAS went ahead with the 6 album run. So you gotta give Hit Boy a big shout out for how these albums came together. And we do actually have ourselves another insert with this one, where you get NAS on the front there, and another poster. Oh no, it's not another poster, I lied, sorry, but it basically just has all the credits on the inside. And then you also get the King's Disease 2 logo, which is the first time you see the style of logo, which kind of then gets built into King's Disease 3. I'm now realizing a pattern with the NAS collection. I don't think I've actually got a single regular black disc when it comes to NAS. It's probably one of my most unique, which I actually don't think I can say about any of the other artists in my collection. And this one comes with a nice gold looking vinyl, which honestly, it fits the theme of the project very well, like with that kind of like orange sort of glow. So very nice little one there. Again, with the logo on there too for the King's Disease. Yeah, it's a really nice one, and I can't say enough good about this project. It is what got me into Nas, not just for his 2020s run, but for his entire run. I can't say enough good about this album. It's genuinely, in my opinion, I would call it my favourite Nas album. Like, it introduced me to Nas, and it's an album I constantly go back to, and it's probably one of my favourite summer albums, so I'll definitely be spinning this quite a few times in the upcoming months. And just in case I didn't show it already, there's the back of it. Very simple, but kind of speaks nicely to how this album sort of plays out. So if you haven't noticed already, I'm trying to go in chronological order. So the next one, and I was surprised because I thought it went King's Disease, Magic, King's Disease, but it actually goes King's Disease, and then Magic. And in my opinion, the way I kind of view King's Disease and Magic as a series of albums is King's Disease is like the album, whereas Magic is like the mixtape and the kind of like bonus stuff. But this is Magic number 1, and to me, Magic 1 is probably the best one out of the series, but in terms of the vinyl, it comes with an Obi strip, which is always nice to have on a record, and I think kind of fits the Magic series quite well. We have this on the side of it, which says no tricks, pure magic, and then on the other side, Nas spitting in the booth, and when we pull it out, we then get this half black, half green effect on here, and on camera I'm not sure if it's doing it that much justice, but this is like a really neon kind of green, but it's really nice. And obviously on the logo or the label side of it, it's got a very Magic-esque kind of vibe to it, so yeah, very cool. And I've actually just noticed on this side is actually a black logo, on this side it's the white logo, so it's kind of got a bit of yin yang to it. Oh, and I almost missed out on the pullout that you get here with Nas again in the booth, and you can get it there on both sides. And then as you open it up, of course, you got some space for all the credits, another image of Nas there again. So yeah, that's a really cool one. This one was really nice, like, project to go through. I think some people might consider the Magic series as a more underrated series, but honestly, as I said, it feels more like mixtape stuff and kind of like that more low-key kind of stuff. And this one does have Wave Gods, which is like kind of the hit of the project, and for good reason. It's got ASAP Rocky and DJ Premier on here, and probably my favourite song for the album too. Another one probably Speechless, as well as The Truth. There's some good ones on here and definitely worth going back to listen to. So there's Magic 1, and the next one we have is actually back to King's Disease with King's Disease 3, again kind of going with the 3 logo that you sort of saw with the 2 logo on the back of the insert, and the King's Disease 2. But yeah, King's Disease 3 for me, I think it's the one I slept on the most, and when I've gone back to it recently to kind of like review for certain videos, I've realised how much I kind of slept on the project, because it is a really good one to go through, and there's like a lot of great songs on here. Look on the back, get Nas and then all the track list, but probably some of my favourites on here is 30, Get a Reporter, Serious Interlude, I'm on Fire, Michael and Quincy. Like, there's some great tracks on here that I genuinely, like, when I first listened to the album, I wasn't all that impressed by, but going back to it recently, it's genuinely a great project. If we open it up, you then get a really nice black and white image of Nas with fog around him. This does have an insert as well. And then again, you have Nas and Hit Boy on the insert here. And then if we open up, of course, more credits with some very stylish photos of Nas in here too, I've got to say. And then on the back of it, you also get another kind of, like, this almost gives me like a Black Ops 3 type logo vibe with it, but obviously it's literally just like 3 stripes essentially, but there you go, there's the back of it. And if we look at the discs on this one, we come with a very nice black and red vinyl, which kind of like the way it's split kind of fits nicely with like the theme of 3 on the whole project and everything. And it's actually kind of interesting because you get actual like translucent-esque kind of bits on the red here, whereas the black isn't that at all. A very unique pressing on this one, so very nice to see. A great album, but in my opinion, I would say this is probably like the low tier of the King's Disease albums. If you ask me to rank them very quickly, I'd probably say King's Disease 2 is the number 1 in terms of being the best and the peak of the series. I would then say King's Disease 1 has probably gone up in my favourite, and then King's Disease 3 is 3rd. It's not that it's a bad album at all, just if you're comparing it to the other ones, I think it's kind of like the weakest out of them, but it's still a great project nonetheless, and a very cool record. So moving into the penultimate record with Magic number 2. Now this one for me, out of the entire 6 album run, it's probably the weakest. I don't think it really stands out as much or anything else like that. Like, it's one I don't really find myself going back to. I mean, probably the best song on here is Motion. I really do like that song on here. One Mic, One Gun. pistols on your album cover. Like, I'm going back through it in my head, and actually there's quite a few good ones on here. If we look at the back, you can see them. But I think the one people are probably most excited for, and maybe this kind of like half the reason people don't really like the project or don't remember it as fondly, is because Office Hours is on here, which has 50 Cent, and I think people are really hyped to see a Nas and 50 Cent collaboration, and I don't think it really lived up to the hype as much as it could have. Maybe I need to go back to reconsider that statement, but yeah, it's just not the biggest standout of them. However, one of the things I've got to say about this project is it's probably one of the best splatter discs that I own. So before we show that, we do have another Obi strip on this one. I like the theme of that with the Magic albums. We have the sleeve, again going with that sort of like yin-yang theme with the one black side and one white side. There is some really nice photography when it comes to Nas's projects as well, but then you have Nas again on there, and then on the inside you have the Magic 2 credits and everything like that on there. But the highlight of this is when you think of Magic, just look at that. Like, I think this side's probably the better side to show you, but this just seriously fits the theme of what they're going for when they say the word Magic. I think this is probably one of the craziest splatter discs I own. If I were to rank, like, if I were to do a video like sharing with you like my favorite colored or splattered pressings, this would probably be in the top 2 at the very least. There was no reason for this record to go as hard as it does, but it genuinely is so cool to look at. So despite this project probably being like the weakest out of the 6 album run, it's got the best vinyl pressing in my opinion. So there you have Magic number 2, which leaves us with our final full album, and that is Magic number 3. Not actually a gatefold. It does, I actually lied, it does come with an Obi strip. They did make sure to keep doing that with the projects, but I clearly couldn't get it back on or put it in the sleeve properly, so I just threw the Obi strip inside it. So imagine this one does have the Obi strip, which actually does go with it quite well with that silver. That works quite nicely. So on this one is, again, it's got the same like kind of theme. All of these have this like insert, which is really nice to see, but you have all the credits on that side, and then we turn it around, and then you get again that really nice standout imagery that features Nas. And then on the first sleeve we have Icons in Real Time on here, which I think just really nicely summarizes Nas's run and like what we're seeing, because he is an icon in real time, still rapping as well as he does. And then again on the other side, more nice photography. You got Nas sort of like disappearing into the darkness there, but which is a really nice image. And then when I show you the disc, it goes back to that theme that we saw on King's Disease 3 with the sort of 3 different colors you got going on, but this time we've got the black and white version of it. So yeah, it's kind of really been interesting to go through this and actually look at a NAS collection, because everyone I have got, as I've already said, like none of them have a regular pressing, which is kind of nice to sort of say, and they all have their own like unique feature about them, which is really nice to say for all the LPs and see from them. And this one with the whole black and white theme, it really goes well with the Magic 3 look at the very least anyway, and again with the Obi strip kind of like fits it quite nicely. So there's that one, and also I haven't actually shown you the back of it, which has Nas celebrating out back. Despite me saying number 1 is probably my favorite out of Magic series, I would probably say this is like my most replayed one actually. And one of my favorite songs I go back to quite a lot from this project is actually Blue Bentley. I think it just like is a great song and perfect for listening to when you're driving. And also Never Die with Lil Wayne on there as well. It's a super great track. So maybe now I'm thinking about it, Magic 3 might be my favorite out of the Magic series, but I'm not sure. It's up for debate between that and 1, but Magic 3, I think people overlook this one quite a bit, but it's definitely worth listening to again. It's a great project. Now I would end the video there, however, there is actually one extra Nas vinyl that I have yet to show you that is part of my collection, and that is actually in the form of a single, which comes with Nas New York State of Mind. And it doesn't only come with that, it actually also comes with Wu-Tang on there too, which is really interesting to see with 2 different artists being featured on here, or a group and a different artist. But yeah, Wu-Tang on this side with Protect Your Neck, and then you also have Nas with New York State of Mind on here. Obviously it's kind of replicating kind of like a New York manhole cover. A really nice concept from 2 New York based groups. I think I got this one from Get On Down. This was on there, and to kind of like build up the NAS collection, I thought this would be a really good like unique pickup to get, and technically would go into a bit of a Wu-Tang collection too, because you get them on the other side. But I thought that was a really nice cool extra to throw into the collection and share with you in this video. So this, ladies and gentlemen, has been my NAS full vinyl collection. Obviously there are a couple of them missing from this. If I'm being a bit selective on the ones I haven't go for, I would say there's about 7 that I'm missing, but I know there's also anniversary editions, there's like live editions and stuff like that I will be missing too. So I will kind of like, as I go through my vinyl collecting experience, I will be like trying to add a few more NAS records to the collection, and this will be one of those artist collection videos that will get updated, but probably not for a long time yet. If you were to ask me out of this lot what my favorite album to listen to is, it's already established as King's Disease 2, but if you were to ask me out of these which my favorite record is in terms of the vinyl and the pressing of it, it has to be this one. Like, yeah, it's not gatefold or anything, but simply due to how well done the pressing of this record is, I have to say it's probably Magic 2, despite it not being my favorite out of any of the albums that came in that 2020s run. But yeah, I think it's so crazy, and also the Obi shirt's a good bonus. The cover itself is actually pretty cool too, but yeah, I think it's such a good pressing that I can't not say it's not my favorite. But do let me know in the comments which one of these records is your favorite, and also let me know which ones of these you have on record, which ones you don't, and if I'm missing any ones that you'd like to see me pick up. But for now guys, I've been Ollie Rodriguez-Dolman, and that was my NAS vinyl record collection. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I shall see you in the next video. Take care.